Yo, what's up guys? It's Basket and welcome back to another 7th Haven video. Today's video, I will be going over the top 7 things I wish Starfield had currently. Now, I'm a huge fan of this game and by no means does this mean I don't like the game. I'm just going over some of the things that I hope they add in the future with an update. And I wish they would have had when the game already came out, because I feel like these are some things that they definitely should have thought about. Now, if you're on the edge about buying the game, I definitely recommend. I give this game a solid 9 out of 10, and I really have been having the time of my life playing this game, making these videos, everything like that. I do have a whole Starfield playlist with all kinds of content if y'all want to check that out. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into the video. Alright guys, jumping straight into point number 1, I wish they had city maps. So when you land on a big city, especially like Atlantis, this is like the biggest city in the game, I'm pretty sure. This and Neon, a couple more. There is no local or city map. Like, don't get me wrong, if you pull up the map you can see the planet. Jemison is where Atlas is. And you can press G to go to surface map, which is alright, but this isn't what I'm talking about or what I'm looking for. I would like to know like all the shops around, stuff like that. Like, there's no way to know that this trade kiosk is here unless you just happen to go to it. I mean, I know it's right here, but especially for first time players, there's no telling what that is. And then they have all kinds of shops and stuff, and it would be a lot easier if they just had that located on the map. Now, don't get me wrong, the longer you play, you'll learn the areas. I understand all that, but just having localized maps to where you know where the weapon merchant is, and the clothing store, and the aid center, all that, the viewport, like, this would help out so much, and I don't understand why they don't have that. But at the end of the day, the more you play, if you learn the city, is it really that big of a deal? No, but for new players and having to learn really huge cities like this is kind of a little tedious, but it is what it is. But that is point number 1. Moving on to point number 2. Okay guys, moving on to point number 2. I don't like how they don't have the ability to lock items, preventing them from being sold or dropped. So if you go to your inventory, obviously you can favorite a couple weapons, but like, I have a lot of stuff that I would like for it to be locked. That way I don't accidentally sell it, have to go rebuy it back, or accidentally drop it or stuff like that, because, you know, maintaining your weight and stuff like that, you do tend to drop a lot of items and stuff, especially new items that you aren't used to looking to, or if, you know, some items might be better than the gold ones. Like, this advanced regulator I got actually does the most damage out of any other weapon I have, but since it's just a white, you know, common weapon and it's a pistol, I might accidentally drop this or stuff like that. And like I said, that's just a small thing, but I do feel like they should have had the option to do that, because even though it's my favorite, I can just straight up drop it on the ground anyway. And then next thing you know, you run off and forget your best pistol in the game, or the best pistol that I have. But that is tip number 2, or point number 2 rather, and I'm gonna go on to number 3. Alright guys, moving on to point number 3. I don't like how you don't have the ability to eat food straight up, like when you find it off of the ground. And I'm going to explain why exactly. So if you've been playing the game, everybody knows that if you go to your inventory and look at some of the food, it really doesn't do that much for you. Like, this gives you 3 health and 10% O2 recovery for 3 minutes, which is pretty good. But 3 health literally isn't anything compared to, I think I have like 600 health. Let me see right quick. Yeah, I have 640. So that's nothing. But if you were on a mission and you find this on the ground, you can just eat it straight up. Yeah, that's awesome. But to have to pick all this up and then go to the inventory and manually click all this stuff, I rarely ever use any of these things. And even though they do have a skill under physical, nutrition, unlock food and drink are more 10% more effective and go all the way to 50%. So even still, like the root beer I was just looking at, 50% of plus 3 health is 1.5, so you would have 4.5 health. Like, that's still nothing, and it's, you would have to go all through your inventory and eat so much stuff for it to be equivalent of a med pack or, you know, one of them other items. So if I could see this food and drink just lying on the ground, read the stats, and go ahead and eat it instantly, yeah, I would do that more times than not. But the fact of the matter is, it's just not worth it to pick it up and then go to your inventory and do it. So a lot of times I do not eat no food, and I feel like they should definitely add that in the game to make it a little bit more usable. But that is point number 3. Now I'm gonna go on to 4. Okay guys, moving into point number 4, I wish they had more melee weapons in the game, and I'm going to explain this a little bit further. So as you can see here, I do have a decent one, which would be awesome to use, but the problem is they only have 8 total, I'm pretty sure, that I know of, and the fact of the matter is, when you first start the game, there's only 3 you can really choose from. It's the cutlass, the axe, and I think the dagger, if I'm not mistaken. So there's really not that many different melee options that you have, especially at the beginning of the game. Now, if you make it further, you do get some of the better options, which I'm not going to say. Obviously, some people don't want that to be spoiled, but the fact of the matter is, it needs more options just to make it feel better. And I'm not even saying like they have to be crazy or nothing like that, but like I said, if you're doing a melee build, you have like 3 different options to choose from for a long time into the game, unless you rush straight to where the good melee weapons are, which I don't even know where that's at. So if they just added some more, I feel like melee classes would be a lot more fun to play, and I would even like to do that. But just using the same 3 things, like I have so many guns on my hotbar. That's 6, 7 different guns right there. None of them are the same. When melee, they only have 8 total. So, and like I said, you can't even access the other 5 until later on into the game. So they need to add more melee weapons. I would love to see that in the update. I think that would be really cool. But that is point number 4. So I'm gonna move on to number 5. Alright guys, moving on to 5, I wish they had land vehicles in this game. So I landed somewhere random on a planet, and as you can see, they have stuff that you can go and travel and, you know, actually uncover like it's unknown, but you have to run all the way to it. And it kind of sucks, it kind of feels bad. Don't get me wrong, I did not mind it at the beginning of the game, but just having a land vehicle, even if it was some small like a ATV or something, would make it just a lot better, a lot more doable, a lot easier to explore and stuff like that. So I definitely wish they had that. It kind of sucks that they don't. And everybody likes the fact of driving around, especially if it was on a planet like this. Like, that would be so awesome. Don't get me wrong, they do have the spaceships that you drive, but it isn't the same as, you know, actually driving a vehicle. Everybody loves the fact of, you know, having to dodge these rocks and just driving around it. You know, I could do that for a considerable amount of time and have fun and explore these planets, but it feels bad when you're running out of oxygen and you just gotta, you know, run as far as you can. It really does kind of sucks. I really hope they add that, because I think that would be a great addition. But that's pretty much it. Let's move on to the next point. Alright guys, moving on to number 6, and I'm pretty sure the whole Starfield community feels the same about this one. I wish you could take off and land manually with your space vehicle. So obviously, if I go into the cockpit and I go ahead and take off, it sends me straight to orbit. There's no coasting or driving it yourself, everything like that. And I feel like for the exploration purpose, being to fly around the planet and everything like that, it would just be really, really cool. I know a lot of people really do want that, and I agree. I think they should have definitely added that. That was actually a very big disappointment in the entire community. Now I'm out here and, like, yeah, I guess I can kind of go around, but you can't really do anything like talking about, honestly. So that is definitely a huge point, and I'm assuming they've heard the community express their frustrations about that, and it'd be cool for them to actually take that in consideration and maybe implement that. I know it'd be pretty hard, but we'll see. And that is number 6. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to number. Alright guys, moving on to point 7, and this point is actually going to have some secret tips within it that some of y'all might not know. So I just entered the lodge, which is pretty much the main area in this game, and if you go first door on the right, go downstairs, this is where you're going to do most of your research. They have all kinds of workbenches, cooking stations, everything like that. Well, this storage box right here can hold unlimited mass, which is awesome. So I put two things in there, which is cool. But this brings me to the point that I wish that they had is I wish they had centralized storage. So now if I go to my room, which is also in the same exact area, everything like that, and it's right up here, second door on the right. As you can see, they have another box with unlimited storage, but they aren't holding the same items. This kind of sucks. I put all my mines in here, but for people who build outposts, I bet y'all wish y'all had centralized storage too, and I feel like it would just make it a little bit easier, especially in the lodge, because, you know, obviously you're gonna want to store stuff everywhere, but it just sucks that this one is holding some stuff and the other one is holding others. So I guess you kind of pick one, but mainly this is for outpost building too. Like I said, it's definitely a hassle then. And that's pretty much it for the video. Those are the top 7 for me. If y'all have any more that y'all would like to share, leave them down in the comments below. I tend to respond to most and every comment that I can. Thank y'all for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. I have a whole playlist full of Starfield videos, like I mentioned in the intro. If y'all are interested in any of those, please go watch them. A lot of them have really good stuff into it. Like I said, I would like to hear y'all's opinions too. So please let me know what y'all think. And that's it for today's video. It's Basket, and I'm out.